So you've probably heard of a little game called The Sims. And if you haven't, it's a gaming franchise where you can create characters, give them names, backstory, and basically control their every move. Well, recently I've been playing The Sims 3 Supernatural, and you can make your Sims and turn them into supernatural. And I created 4 of them, and I like them so much that I decided to draw them. So if you're into that sort of thing, you can watch my speed paint and I will tell you a little bit about their lore. So let's start with my first Sim, Ivy Waits. So Ivy is shy, dramatic, and she has commitment issues. And she just lives in a house in a small town with her mom and her dad. And everything's going like really smoothly until like one day her dad like just disappears. Like no one knows like where this guy went. He's just gone. And so it's like, yeah. So she grows up like without her father, and she decides to go to college for law school. And yeah, while she's in college, she meets a girl and they're like best friends, but we'll get more into that later. And while in college, she decides to track down her father because he's been missing her whole childhood, and she wants to know where he's at. So she tracks down her dad, and she ends up finding him and like finding his address. And then when she comes to his house, she finds out he has a wife, but not only that, he has another child. So that's what leads us into my second Sim, Aiden Waits. So Aiden is charismatic, athletic, and he's absent-minded. He's stupid. He's like really dumb. And he lives with his mom and dad, and he wants to go to school in physical education. And he's basically like a golden child. Like everyone loves him. He's super nice. He does all this stuff. And he's like a star athlete. Like everything's going really well from him. Until one day he finds out that he has a half sister that no one told him about. So him and his dad fall out, and he decides to get to know his sister, but it's kind of awkward. So they decide that they're going to move in together. And, they also want to move in with the sister's best friend, who is the next Sim. So, Aurora Peachy, she is our next Sim. She is a hopeless romantic, she's a green thumb, and she's socially awkward. She wants to be a biologist, so she studies like science and all that stuff, and that's where she meets Ivy at college, and they're become like really close like instantly, so they're like best friends. And Ivy basically says like, I found my half brother, we're gonna move, and do you want to live with us? And she's like, yeah. So they all decide to move into this creepy old town, because it's like the cheapest town ever, Moonlight Falls. And Moonlight Falls is like this place, there's like mountains and like fog all the time, there's like lots of trees, and they're like, yeah, we definitely want to live here. So they go move into Moonlight Falls, but it's like really hard for them actually, because the town is super old. It was like built in like the 1800s, so all the houses are like really super huge, but they also cost a lot of money, and this town is also packed, so it's like not easy to find a cheap house. So they're looking for a house, and they're searching high and low, and they're putting out offers like, hey, we're 3 people, we're 3 adults, we all have jobs, and we want to buy this house. And then one day they finally get an offer, and it's an offer that they cannot refuse. The house is $42. And they're like, all right, let's buy this house. The house is like actually 5 bedrooms. I was about to say 3, but there's actually 5 bedrooms. They have 3 bathrooms, huge space, 3 levels, all of this stuff. And they're like, this is an amazing house. But this cheap house came for a price. And this is where we get into my 4th Sim, Blair Villa. So Blair Villa lives in the attic of this house, and he is a teenage vampire. Yes, he's a vampire living in their attic that they don't know about. He is a party animal. He's rebellious. He's basically like a crazy teen boy. And his parents are famous vampires, Bethany and Blair Villa. So they're like these really famous vampires, and they're famous because they're good. Like, they don't bite people, they don't hunt people, like, they're like really nice and really good, and they're basically like the leaders in this town. Like, they own a lot of property, like they're real estaters and all this stuff. But Blair definitely does not want that. He wants to be bad. He wants to bite people. He wants to hunt people. And he definitely wants to turn people into a vampire. He wants to do everything that he can, and his parents obviously don't like that, and he doesn't like them. So they kept fighting back and forth, and they just decided as punishment they were going to put Blair on their property, and just basically send him away. But then they realized they cannot leave their teenage son alone like that, because who's gonna watch him? So then they decide to move in these 3 humans with him and basically force them to take care of their son. And everything goes smoothly. They don't even know about Blair in the attic. But then on the first full moon, he comes downstairs and he basically says, like, hey guys, I'm living in your attic. And they're like, okay, that's really scary. I'm terrified. And then, even worse, the full moon basically gives everybody in the town special powers and things, including our 3 humans. It turns them into supernaturals. Yes. So Aiden becomes a werewolf, Ivy becomes a witch, and Aurora becomes a fairy. And they are stuck like this forever. So now they're trying to figure out how to navigate their lives as these supernatural monsters in this freaking place. It's crazy. And that is my supernatural lore for my 4 Sims. It's really crazy. And I'm having so much fun playing this game, and I liked these characters and the backstory I created so much that I decided to draw them. So in this like little speed paint, you can see them basically moving into their house, like unpacking the rest of their stuff and getting used to the supernatural powers. But yeah, this game is super fun. I'm playing it, and yeah, so much stuff has been happening. There's been fights. Aiden and Aurora have been fighting. There has been brawls. Blair turns on every speaker in the house and he dances for hours. I don't know how to stop that. That's all he does. And Ivy gets shy around everyone. Like, every single time someone else walks into a room, she gets immediately upset because she's so shy. So these Sims are really crazy, and I'm trying to navigate their supernatural stuff and getting them used to their powers. And yeah, it's just an overall really fun game. But yeah, so that's why I decided to draw them, and that's pretty much all of their lore as well. So if you really like this, and you can sit back and watch the rest of the speed paint, and yeah, that'll be all. So that is the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I tried to do something different and basically like mix in my hobbies, my 2 hobbies, which are like gaming and drawing. So I tried to draw one of my favorite games, and yeah, it was really fun. I actually really like this drawing. It took me so long to set up everything, like the proportions and everything. They're really hard, and especially because I was trying to mix my art style with the Sims 3 art style, which is kind of like semi-realistic, cartoony. So I was trying to draw it, and yeah, the proportions are really crazy. And then I did the house background. It was kind of hard too, and I had some trouble rendering. But that was just, yeah, that was the end of the video. So if you really like this video, give a like, give a subscribe, give a comment. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and see you later.